The grand ballroom sparkled with golden light, chandeliers reflecting off polished floors, soft classical music filling the air. Elena Parker hesitated at the edge of the crowd, clutching her dress nervously. Tonight's gala was meant to be a networking opportunity for her budding career, but all she wanted was a single, simple joy. Sophie nudged her, smiling. "Go on, Elena, ask him. One dance, that's all." Elena's heart raced. Across the room, Lucas Bennett stood near the balcony, talking to a small group of colleagues. Tall, impeccably dressed, eyes dark and magnetic, his presence seemed to draw everyone in, yet he looked untouchable, like someone from a different world. Taking a deep breath, Elena walked forward. Her voice trembled slightly. "Excuse me, would you maybe dance with me?" The room seemed to fade as Lucas turned to her. A faint, surprised smile curved his lips. "Just one dance?" he asked, his voice smooth and inviting. Elena nodded, her cheeks flushed. He extended his hand. As she placed her hand in his, the music shifted, the world around them melting away. In his arms, she felt warmth, safety, and something indefinably thrilling. The sparkle of the ballroom lights reflected in his eyes, and for the first time that evening, Elena felt completely seen. Little did she know, this one dance was not just a fleeting moment. It was the first step in a journey that would change her career, her heart, and her life in ways she could never have imagined. The music slowed, and Elena couldn't stop thinking. Who was this man, and why did he feel like he already belonged in her life? Elena left the ballroom with her heart still racing. The laughter and chatter of the gala seemed distant now, replaced by the vivid memory of Lucas's hand in hers, the warmth of his gaze, and the strange, magnetic pull she felt whenever he smiled. Sophie walked beside her, chattering about trivial things, but Elena barely heard her. "Are you okay?" Sophie finally asked, stopping in front of a cab. "You've been zoning out for like 10 minutes. Elena shook her head, forcing a small smile. "I'm fine, just that dance, it felt different." Sophie raised an eyebrow. "Different how? You've danced before." "I know," Elena said softly, "but it felt like more than just a dance. Like he saw me." Sophie laughed lightly. "Saw you? Elena, it's a ballroom. People see each other all the time." "No, not like that," Elena whispered almost to herself. "He saw me, the real me." The cab arrived and they climbed in, but Elena's thoughts didn't let her rest. She kept replaying every moment. The gentle way Lucas guided her across the dance floor, the way he adjusted his hold just enough to make her feel secure, and the subtle strength he radiated without even trying. Later that night, she couldn't sleep. She sat by her bedroom window, staring at the city lights, her mind returning again and again to Lucas. She didn't even know him, yet she felt an inexplicable connection, like fate had nudged her toward this one encounter. The next day at work, Elena tried to focus on her internship tasks, but the memory lingered, and she caught herself glancing at the office doors as if expecting him to walk through. And then, as if the universe had heard her unspoken thoughts, he appeared. Lucas Bennett, standing at the entrance of the conference room where she had been reviewing documents. "Elena Parker," he said, his voice calm but smooth, almost like it carried its own gravity. "I hope I'm not interrupting." Elena's pulse quickened. "No, not at all," she managed to reply, her fingers tightening on her pen. "I wanted to thank you," he said, stepping closer, not imposing but undeniably present. "For the dance last night. It was memorable." She smiled nervously. "It was unforgettable." For a moment, the office seemed to vanish. Just the two of them existed in a bubble of quiet intensity. Lucas's eyes held something deeper, recognition, perhaps curiosity, maybe even admiration. And for the first time, Elena felt that pull again, that strange flutter in her chest that had begun on the dance floor. Before she could respond, her boss walked in, breaking the spell. Lucas nodded politely and left, but as he passed her desk, he leaned in slightly, just enough to whisper, "See you soon. I have a feeling our paths will cross again." Elena's cheeks flushed. Her heart was racing and she couldn't stop replaying the moment. Something about him was magnetic, irresistible, and undeniably important. That evening, as Elena walked home, her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "One dance changes everything. Don't forget that." She froze, her mind racing. Could it be him? Or someone else? The thrill, the curiosity, and the sense of destiny intertwined, leaving her both exhilarated and anxious. As she stared out at the city skyline, Elena realized something undeniable. Her life had shifted in a single evening. That one dance was only the beginning, and Lucas Bennett, whoever he truly was now a part of it. Little did she know, their connection was about to pull her into situations that would test her courage, heart, and ambition in ways she could never have imagined. The days following that text were a blur. Elena couldn't shake off the words. One dance changes everything. She tried to ignore it, convincing herself it was just coincidence. Maybe Lucas was being polite. Maybe it wasn't even him. But deep down, she knew it was him. At the office, life carried on, yet something felt different. The team whispered about a new investor rumored to join the company, a mysterious figure with influence, wealth, and a reputation for transforming businesses overnight. During lunch, Sophie leaned across the table, whispering, "Guess who's coming to the partner meeting next week?" Lucas Bennett. Elena froze, her fork midair. Lucas Bennett. The same one, Sophie grinned. He's not just some guy from a gala, Elena. He's that Lucas Bennett, CEO of Bennett Holdings, one of the biggest firms in the city. People say he's cold, calculating, and never mixes business with emotion. Elena's heart skipped a beat. So the man she danced with, the man who made her heart race, was not just charming, he was powerful, way out of her league. The realization hit her like a wave. Their connection suddenly felt dangerous, intoxicating but forbidden. The next few days, she caught fleeting glimpses of him in the building. A reflection in the glass elevator, a glimpse of his tailored suit disappearing around a corner. Each time, her chest tightened and her mind filled with questions. Then one morning, her boss approached her desk. "Elena, Mr. Bennett asked to see you." Her breath hitched. "Me? Yes, you, conference room 3, now." Elena's palms were sweating by the time she reached the glass-walled room. Lucas stood there, looking effortlessly composed. Dark suit, crisp white shirt, tie slightly loosened like he'd just left a battle and somehow still won. He turned when she entered, his expression softening slightly. "Elena, I was hoping we'd talk again." Her throat went dry. "You wanted to see me." He nodded slowly. "I have a proposition." That word made her heart stumble. Proposition. Lucas's tone was calm, but his eyes held that familiar intensity that made it hard to breathe. "I'm investing in this company. I've reviewed several projects, and one caught my attention. Yours." Elena blinked in disbelief. "Mine, the nonprofit media campaign." He smiled faintly. "Yes, the one everyone said was too idealistic, too emotional." He took a small step closer. "You think differently, Elena, that's rare, and I don't ignore rare." Her pulse quickened. "Why me?" He looked at her for a long moment before replying quietly. "Because the world overlooks people like you, people who lead with heart. I don't." The silence between them was thick, heavy with meaning. Elena felt seen, understood, and drawn toward him in a way she couldn't explain. But before she could respond, the door opened. Sophie appeared, wide-eyed and slightly awkward. "Oh, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt." Lucas straightened slightly, the warmth in his expression fading into professionalism. "It's fine, Sophie. Elena and I were just discussing business." After he left, Sophie turned to Elena, whispering business, or something else. Elena didn't answer. She couldn't, because deep down, she knew this was no ordinary business meeting. That night, she sat on her bed, her laptop open to a dozen news articles about Lucas Bennett. Words like ruthless, brilliant, impossible to read flashed across the screen. Yet she couldn't match those descriptions with the man who had looked at her like she mattered. Her phone buzzed again. Unknown number. "You did well today. Don't let doubt silence your fire." Her breath caught. Lucas, it had to be. She typed a reply, then hesitated, deleted it, typed again. Finally, she sent, "Why are you doing this?" No reply. Just the quiet hum of the city outside her window. But somewhere deep inside, she knew Lucas Bennett wasn't done with her. And this connection, whatever it was about to grow into something neither of them could control. Elena tried to keep her focus on work. But every time she opened a document, her mind wandered back to him. Lucas Bennett, the man who could silence a room with one look, who somehow saw her in a way no one else did. Days passed in a strange blur of meetings and half-stolen glances. Lucas never crossed the line, but the way he spoke, the way he looked at her, it was like every word had a hidden meaning. One morning, her boss announced that Elena's project, the very one Lucas had approved, was being fast-tracked. "You'll be working directly with Mr. Bennett's team," he said. "He wants weekly progress meetings, with you present." Elena nodded, keeping her face composed. Inside, her pulse raced. The first meeting was all business. Charts, reports, numbers, but when everyone left, Lucas lingered. "You're nervous," he said quietly. Elena blinked. "I'm just focused." He tilted his head, a faint smile tugging at his lips. Focused and guarded. She hesitated. "I just want to do good work." Lucas stepped closer, not threatening, just present. "You already are, but the world doesn't reward people who hide behind walls." His words stayed with her long after he left. That evening, Elena stayed late at the office, fine-tuning her presentation. The city outside was glowing, rain tracing soft lines down the window. Suddenly, a reflection appeared behind her. "Lucas, I told you to go home," he said. "I needed to fix a few things." He glanced at her screen, then at her. "You don't stop, do you?" She gave a nervous laugh. "Neither do you." Their eyes met. For a long moment, neither spoke. The air felt thick, like something unspoken hung between them. Lucas broke the silence first. "You remind me of someone I used to know." "Someone important?" she asked. He looked away, the softness in his eyes flickering into something darker. "Someone I lost because I chose business over feeling." Her heart clenched. "Do you regret it?" He met her gaze again. "Every day." The silence after that was deafening. Elena could feel her heartbeat echoing in her chest. When he finally left, she realized her hands were trembling. That night, another message appeared on her phone. Unknown number. Some lines aren't meant to be crossed, but some deserve to be rewritten. Her heart raced. She didn't know if it was a warning or a promise. The days that followed were heavy with silence, the kind that carried weight, meaning, and unspoken emotion. Elena avoided Lucas as best she could. She buried herself in her project, in meetings, in the noise of deadlines, anything to drown out the pull she felt toward him. But fate has a way of forcing two people together, especially when they're trying their hardest to stay apart. That Thursday, Lucas arrived unannounced during her presentation. His presence filled the room like a storm, calm on the surface, chaos underneath. "Elena," he said smoothly after the meeting ended, "a word." She followed him into the corridor. "You've outdone yourself," he said, eyes locking onto hers. "You turned something ordinary into something unforgettable." Her throat tightened. "Thank you, but I'm just doing my job." Lucas gave a faint smile. "And yet, you make it look like art." She wanted to say something, anything, but before she could, a voice echoed from behind. "Careful, Elena," Sophie teased, walking past. "Rumor is, Mr. Bennett doesn't compliment anyone unless he wants something more than work." Elena's face flushed. Lucas's jaw tensed. "People talk," he said quietly once Sophie left. "Let them. But it'll ruin my reputation," she whispered. He looked at her, his tone softening. "If your reputation depends on what others think, you'll never live your truth." Something about his words struck her. She wanted to believe them, but she knew getting too close to him wasn't just risky, it was dangerous. That night as rain poured outside, Elena's phone buzzed again. Unknown number. Rumors can destroy, but sometimes truth is the real danger. She frowned, typing back, "Who are you really, Lucas?" A moment passed, then came the reply. "Someone who stopped believing in love until I met you." Her breath caught. She dropped her phone, staring at the message like it was fire, because deep down she wanted it to be real, and that terrified her. The next day, she overheard two colleagues whispering by the elevator. "Word is, Bennett's been seen with someone from the creative team." Elena, "Yeah, but if it's true, she's playing with fire." Elena froze. Every nerve in her body screamed to walk away, to stay safe, to let it end before it began. But when she walked into Lucas's office later that day, he looked up from his desk, his expression softer than she'd ever seen. "Elena," he said quietly, "do you trust me?" Her voice trembled. "I don't even trust myself anymore." He stood, walking closer until they were just a breath apart. "Then let me be the one thing you can trust." For a heartbeat, the world stopped. The city, the company, the rules, none of it mattered. But before she could answer, his phone rang. He stepped back, his expression darkening as he glanced at the screen. "I have to take this," he said curtly, then turned away. As he spoke, she caught a single name on his caller ID, a name that made her blood run cold. Ava Bennett, his wife. The moment Elena saw that name, Ava Bennett, her chest tightened. Her heartbeat pounded in her ears. Wife. No, that couldn't be right. He didn't wear a ring, he never mentioned her. But denial has a way of feeling safer than truth. The next morning, Elena arrived early, hopping to bury herself in work. But whispers followed her like shadows. 2 interns were scrolling through an article. "Isn't that him? The Bennett Holdings CEO." "Yeah. Says here his wife used to co-own a charity foundation before she went missing overseas." "Missing?" Elena froze, her stomach churned. "Missing." The article headline read, "Ava Bennett, the disappearance that shattered New York's power couple." Her breath hitched as she read. The reports were vague: a private trip gone wrong, no body recovered, investigation ongoing. Lucas had withdrawn from public life after that. She sank into her chair, her thoughts spiraling. Was Lucas still grieving? Was she just a distraction, a replacement? Later that evening, as the office emptied, Lucas appeared at her desk, his expression unreadable. "Elena, walk with me." They stepped out onto the terrace. The city lights shimmered below, wind brushing her hair. "You've been distant," he said quietly. She swallowed. "I found out about Ava." He closed his eyes briefly. "I thought you might. Why didn't you tell me?" Her voice cracked. "Why pretend to be?" "I never pretended." His tone was firm, almost pained. "Ava was my world, and losing her broke something in me." He looked away, his voice low and rough. "Then you walked in, and for the first time I felt alive again. That scared me more than anything." Elena's heart ached. "Lucas, you can't just pick up the pieces of your grief and hand them to me." "I'm not asking you to fix me," he whispered, stepping closer. "I'm asking you to believe that what I feel, what we feel, is real." She wanted to believe him. God, she did. But the world he came from was full of secrets, power, and danger. "People think you're still married," she said. "That your wife might come back." His eyes darkened. "Ava isn't coming back." "How do you know?" she whispered. He hesitated too long, and in that silence, something inside her broke. "Because you were there?" she asked softly. Lucas's jaw tightened. He didn't answer. The sound of her breath caught between them, half fear, half heartbreak. "I can't do this," she said finally, stepping back. "Not when I don't know who you really are." "Elena." But she was already gone, tears stinging her eyes as she disappeared down the corridor, leaving him standing there, alone against the city lights, haunted by ghosts of the past and the woman who had just walked away. That night, Elena sat in her apartment, staring at her phone. Dozens of unsent messages, dozens of unanswered questions. Then at 2:13 a.m. her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Some truths destroy what they touch, but sometimes they protect what they love. Her heart ached as she stared at the screen, because this time, she didn't know if the message came from Lucas Bennett or from someone who didn't want her to uncover the truth about Ava. Elena barely slept. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Lucas's face, that flicker of guilt, that hesitation when she mentioned Ava. By morning, her chest felt heavy with unanswered questions. She couldn't stay silent anymore. She needed to know who Lucas Bennett really was. At the office, she pretended to work, but her mind was elsewhere in the digital archives, scrolling through old articles, public records, anything tied to Ava Bennett. There were photos of them together, Lucas and Ava, smiling at charity events, holding hands at galas. They looked perfect. But then came the timeline gaps, inconsistencies in reports about her disappearance. One article mentioned a confidential investigation, another hinted at business conflicts overseas. And then something strange, a comment buried deep in a forum post from 3 years ago. The Bennetts weren't alone on that trip. Someone else was with them, and only one came back. Elena's stomach dropped. She clicked on the user profile, deleted. Later that day, Lucas requested to see her again. When she entered his office, he looked different, distant, composed, his warmth gone. "You've been digging," he said quietly, not looking up from his desk. Elena froze. "What?" He finally raised his gaze, those blue eyes sharp, unreadable. "You think I don't notice when someone accesses restricted files from my servers?" Her heart thudded painfully. "I needed answers." He stood, slowly walking toward her. "And what did you find, Elena?" Her voice trembled. "That nothing about you makes sense." He stopped in front of her, close enough that she could feel his breath. "Be careful what you look for. Sometimes the truth does more damage than lies." She met his gaze, tears welling up. "Did you hurt her, Lucas?" The silence between them was unbearable. He didn't move, didn't speak. His eyes softened for a brief second, sadness, guilt, maybe love, before he turned away. "I didn't kill Ava," he said finally, "but I didn't save her either." Elena's breath caught. "What does that mean?" Before he could answer, his phone buzzed. He looked down, his face instantly darkened. He muttered something under his breath, grabbed his jacket and said, "Don't leave the building." Then he was gone. An hour later, the building's fire alarm went off. Red lights flashed, panic spread. Elena grabbed her things and ran for the stairs until her phone vibrated. Unknown number. You shouldn't have searched her name. Her heart froze. She turned, and through the glass wall, she saw a black car parked across the street, tinted windows reflecting the chaos. Someone was watching her. That night, Elena sat in her apartment, lights off, blinds drawn. Her laptop was open, showing a single email that had arrived minutes ago from a private address. Subject: Ava wasn't who you think she was. Attachment: one photo. She opened it. The picture showed Ava Bennett at a gala, smiling beside Lucas, and behind them, in the reflection of a mirror, a shadowed figure watching. Someone who looked exactly like Elena. Her blood ran cold. Elena couldn't breathe. Her reflection stared back at her from the laptop screen, her face, her eyes, standing behind Lucas and Ava like a ghost from the past. It made no sense until she zoomed in. The woman in the photo wasn't her. Not exactly, but the resemblance was uncanny. The same hair, same smile, even the same small scar above the eyebrow. Her hands trembled. Who was she? Hours passed. The storm outside mirrored the one inside her mind. When Lucas finally showed up at her apartment, soaked, tense, eyes wild, she didn't open the door right away. "Elena," he said through the wood, his voice low but urgent, "please let me in." She hesitated. "Why should I? You've been lying since the day we met." A pause, then softly, "Because if I'm right, you're in danger." Something in his tone made her unlock the door. Lucas stepped inside, dripping rain onto her floor. His usual composure was gone. "You saw the photo," he said. "It wasn't a question." "Who is she?" Elena demanded. "Why does she look like me?" He exhaled, running a hand through his wet hair. "Her name was Ava before she married me. But before that, she had another name and another life." Elena's heartbeat quickened. "What are you saying?" Lucas looked up, eyes dark. "You're not the first woman she tried to replace." She frowned. "Replace?" He nodded slowly. "Ava built her identity from others' faces, histories, people who wouldn't be missed, until she became someone powerful enough to hide in plain sight." Elena stepped back. "That's insane." Lucas moved closer, voice dropping. "She was obsessed with control, with me. And when she realized she couldn't have all of me, she found a way to make sure no one else could." Her breath hitched. "You mean?" "She wanted to erase the next you, before you even existed." The lights flickered. A crack of thunder rattled the windows. Then a faint sound. Her phone buzzed. A message flashed on the screen. "He's lying to you, just like he lied to me." The sender's name: Ava Bennett. Elena's blood froze. She looked at Lucas. "She's dead, right?" He stared at the message, pale, shaken. "Not if she's finally coming back for what she started." Outside, headlights swept across her window. The black car was back, engine running. Lucas's voice was tight. "Pack your things, we're leaving now." Elena's mind raced, torn between trust and fear. Was she running from Ava, or with the man Ava warned her about? As she grabbed her coat, she glanced once more at the photo still glowing on her screen. And for a split second, the reflection behind Ava seemed to move. Rain lashed against the windshield as the car sped through the empty streets. Elena sat beside Lucas, her pulse hammering louder than the thunder outside. Neither spoke. The air between them was charged with fear, distrust, and something neither wanted to name. Finally, she broke the silence. "Where are we going?" Lucas's jaw tightened. "Somewhere safe." She looked at him, studying his profile, the hard lines, the quiet intensity. "You said that before. The last time someone trusted you, she disappeared." His eyes flicked toward her. "I didn't kill her, Elena." "Then who did?" He didn't answer. They drove for hours into the outskirts of the city. The neon lights faded into fog and forest. When he finally stopped the car, they were in front of an old glass house, hidden behind ivy and shadows. Elena shivered. "This is your safe place." "It's off-grid," he said. "No signals, no tracking, she can't find us here." She followed him inside, every creak of the floorboards echoing in her chest. Dust, broken mirrors, vines reclaiming the walls, and a faint smell of jasmine. "This was hers, wasn't it?" she whispered. Lucas's silence was all the answer she needed. As night deepened, Elena couldn't sleep. The glass house felt alive, breathing with old memories. She found Lucas outside, standing in the rain again, staring into the dark woods. "She's not dead, is she?" Elena asked softly. He didn't turn around. No body was ever found. Her throat tightened. "Then why did you say she was gone?" He looked over his shoulder, eyes glinting like steel. "Because sometimes death is kinder than the truth." Suddenly, a light flickered deep in the trees, faint, like a lantern swaying. Then another. Lucas tensed. "Get inside now." Before she could move, her phone vibrated again. Unknown number. "You can't run from a reflection. It always finds you." She dropped it, heart pounding. The front door creaked open on its own. Wind swept through the glass house, rattling the windows, blowing out the candles. And in the largest mirror, cracked, fogged, and half covered in dust, Elena saw a shadow move behind her, a woman's silhouette, whispering her name. She turned, nothing, but Lucas was gone. Only the sound of the storm and her own heartbeat remained. Then through the glass, a figure appeared in the rain, a woman with her face, her smile, her reflection. And she whispered, clear as thunder, "Did he tell you who you really are?" The storm outside howled like a warning. Elena's reflection trembled in the cracked glass, but it wasn't moving with her anymore. The woman in the mirror tilted her head first, then smiled. "I've been waiting for you," the reflection whispered. Elena stumbled back, her voice shaking. "This isn't real." The reflection's lips curved wider. Neither was he. Thunder crashed, and suddenly the mirror fogged over, words forming in the condensation. "Look closer." Her trembling fingers wiped the glass, and behind the reflection, she saw memories, fragments flashing like broken film. A hospital bed, her face wrapped in bandages, Lucas holding her hand, whispering, "You're safe now, Ava." She gasped, No, that's not me." But the reflection spoke again, her voice layered, distorted, both Elena and Ava. "He saved me, then rebuilt me. New name, new memories, but the same woman underneath." Elena's knees weakened. "He made me you." The reflection tilted its head. "No, he made you his version of me." Behind her, the glass house door creaked open. Lucas stood there, soaked, desperate eyes pleading. "Elena, listen to me." She backed away, tears mixing with rain. "Who am I, Lucas?" He took a step closer. "You're you, you're real, you were in that crash." "What crash?" "The one she caused." His voice cracked. "Ava tried to kill herself and me. I pulled you from the wreckage, she was gone. You had no ID, no memory. I couldn't lose her again, so I gave you a life." Elena's world spun. "You turned me into her." He shook his head violently. "No, I fell in love with you, but maybe I just wanted to believe she'd come back through you." Lightning flashed, and for a split second, another silhouette appeared in the mirror. "Ava." Behind him. "Elena," Lucas said, reaching out. "I can explain." Glass shattered. Ava stepped through the broken mirror like a ghost made flesh, her smile cold and hollow. "You always did like fixing things that were already broken." Lucas froze. "Ava." Her voice was silk and venom. "You replaced me with her. You buried me alive, Lucas." Elena stood between them, heart pounding. "You're real." Ava's eyes met hers, same color, same pain. "I'm what's left of you." Lucas stepped forward, voice breaking. "No one was supposed to get hurt." Ava laughed, low and bitter. "Then why do we both bleed?" The mirrors around them began to crack one by one, reflections splintering, showing 1,000 versions of the same woman. Elena screamed, clutching her head. "Make it stop." Ava's voice echoed, fatting. "It's your turn to choose who lives in the reflection." Then silence. When Elena opened her eyes, she was alone. Lucas was gone. The mirrors were empty, and her phone buzzed one last time. Unknown number. You can only save one yourself, or the truth. Elena stood in front of the shattered mirror, the storm outside finally calming. Her mind swirled with questions, revelations, and emotions she couldn't put into words. One dance had changed everything. One twist had changed her reality. But one thing was clear. This story wasn't over. The shadows of the past, the reflections of what could be, they lingered. If you want to follow Elena's journey, uncover the secrets of her identity, and see how her story unfolds beyond the mirror, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss the next chapter, because every reflection has a story, and every story has its next twist. The mirror may be cracked, but the story is far from broken. Will Elena truly discover the truth? Will Lucas and Ava's legacy finally be resolved? Only the next chapter will tell.